In this week's episode, much like we alluded to last week, we're going to have a little Q&A session between
Yeah.
you and I. What do you think?
Suddenly I felt like, Katie, we need to have a talk.
This isn't counseling. It's
Can
just
you,
for fun.
like when you see a meeting from your boss, it's like discussion. That's the only topic. You're like, oh shit.
Oh no, that was always me doing it to them.
Oh shoot.
Oh.
I'm going to pretend that the meetings were really like this, what we're about to do.
Oh yeah, they were way more like this. Totally. It was
I'm
just
sure.
friends and
Yeah,
wine.
that's all.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I think you're first, or am I first? You pick. Where's your frog it or forget it coin?
Yes. You mean this one? Right here? All right. All right. Frog side is you getting asked questions first, and the knitting side is me because it's the knitting side.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Here we go. Oh. It's you. Here we go.
All right.
Roll the music. Light from Lantern presents Knit a Spell. I'm magical maker, Katie Rempe.
And I'm the maker of magic, James Devine.
Join us as we stitch together the symbiotic relationship between crafting
And the craft.
All right, Jim. So I thought if we just do 5 questions, then we have plenty of time to answer them without making this like a 5-hour episode. Even
5-hour episode.
You are.
It's what the people want.
You're right. If you want a 5-hour episode, you let me know. I'll make it happen.
Wait, maybe that's how we like, if we don't get 4 emails, it'll be like a telethon.
Yes, all we need is 6 more emails to make
Or
this
else
happen.
it's a 5-hour episode. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
My first question for Jim is, who is the one guest that you absolutely want to have on in season 3? Just one.
I want that knitting guy, that dude who's like knitting those amazing, that, who is he? Like
That knitting guy.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's not too many of them, Jim.
No, West Knits. I want that West Knits
Oh.
guy. Stephen West. Is that who it is?
Stephen West? Yeah. Oh, that knitting guy. There is
Yeah.
actually a knitting guy. Okay, yeah.
Isn't he like the king of knitters or something? Isn't he who you all worship?
Oh
Don't we
my.
all bow in the temple of Stephen West or something?
He does have a lot of dedicated fans and is quite talented.
That's who. I want to talk to that dude.
I'll tell you what, that hasn't been without some trying. I ask every couple of months and they always give me a nice no, but eventually they're going to say yes.
Yeah.
So maybe if our listeners want to make sure
Hey.
we have them, you also could write to Stephen West and let them know you would like to have him on here, and we could ask him all about the magic of color and how he thinks of design shapes in his brain and all that fun stuff.
I have ideas and how we can get him. So we could talk about that offline, but that's who I would like to have. And I think we need to do a little magic spell to get him on.
I'm down. Let's do it.
So
all right.
That's what I want. And the reason that I want Stephen West on is I would really love to get that knitting side and to bring some of that in. I want to get his take on like, why is knitting magic? Like what got him into it? I want to understand how knitting can be transformational and bring some of that in. So I think that would be really cool.
He's been in the like knitting pattern design business for as long as I've been around it, which has been like more than 10 years at this point. So he, I'm sure, has a lot of stories that he could tell. We could probably have him on for a 5-hour episode pretty easily. Okay, next question. What is one topic you'd like to explore in season 3 specifically?
One topic to explore in season 3.
We often do like a themed month.
I want to talk about queer knitting and queer magic and how those come together. I want to do like a Pride Month with
A
queer
round table of a knitting in the round table. Ooh.
Yeah. Or knitting. I want to do something about LGBTQIA+. I want to get into like trans knitting, queer knitting, all those kind of topics, and queer magic, trans magic. That would be a fun month to do. That'd be a cool topic. Bring that queer magic and queer knitting and fiber, all that together.
Gosh, that could be the whole quarter. Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. All right. Number 3. Are you ready?
These are going very fast. We're not
Well,
having
that's all
enough
right.
conversation about it.
You're so succinct. You know exactly what you want. It's great.
Yeah. I'm an Aries. I know what I want.
That's true. All right. So we have done a couple on location episodes now. You've seen how they've gone. We can do it. We should do one together. Jim, where do we do our next in person episode?
It's got to be somewhere freaking warm and sunny, not in rainy, cold Seattle. I'm whittling it down. Somewhere fun. So maybe it's a knitting conference like in New York. Maybe it's a magical conference like in New Orleans or in Dallas, or maybe it's at the Northwest Tarot Symposium in Portland, or maybe it's at a knitting conference somewhere. Something like that would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, based on your description, it sounds like Vogue Knitting in New York City in January is exactly what you're looking for. It's super warm, it's not precipitating at all, and everything I just said is a total lie.
It's probably snowing, but it's indoors.
It's
So
definitely indoors. That's
yeah.
true. Yes.
So it'll be warm-ish.
They have knitting conferences all times of the year and in all sorts of locations
Hawaii.
that aren't
We could
there.
do yoga and knitting in Hawaii.
Maybe we do our own retreat at some point and then we can have it wherever we want. That makes sense
Yeah,
due to our needs. Yes.
Yeah.
And in Arizona.
that's right. We'll do it in Tucson,
There we go.
right adjacent to the gym show. And then we'll do crystals and knitting. We'll knit cozies for crystals.
Cozies for crystals, stitch markers with crystals. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's just all crystals. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And
I think
knitting.
that there's a lot of ways you can incorporate crystals in knitting. So that would probably be pretty easy to do. Okay.
Let's do it. Crystal
Making
knitwits.
notes. If you're in Tucson and you have shop ideas, let us know where we could do that. Cool. All right. So this next one, it's funny that we were just talking about this. Would you try knitting again, Jim? If we planned like a workcation experience somewhere where I make it like fully immersive for you, like we go to somewhere that has like a bunch of yarn stores or that is like a knitting retreat thing, you get immersed in the culture, and then you're like, man, knitting. I can see by your face you're excited.
Yes,
Oh, okay. That wasn't the answer I was expecting.
for sure. I've already dabbled a little bit. Again, I got all my stuff and I've been dabbling.
What have you been dabbling in?
I've been clicking the points together again.
You remember all the things?
No.
That's what the internet's for, luckily. And eventually we'll do like an in-person something and that'll be fun
Yeah.
too.
I forgot all of it, but yeah, we're going to give it another try. It takes
Okay.
11 tries before it becomes a habit.
What? Who
It's
says
11
that?
Richard, that's what my husband always says to the kids when they don't want to eat something. He's like, it takes 11 tries. So we get to try it again. So he always puts that one leaf of
Oh.
lettuce or that one tiny piece of broccoli. It's like, it's a tree. You get to be a monster and eat the trees.
Mm.
And then they're all like, we know 11 tries. I've already tried it 12 times. Still hate it.
I feel like I could have used this tactic while helping knitters at some point. You have to mess up this project 11 times or this one thing before you
knows?
figure it out. I
Who
think
knows if
good
that's a
rule of
real
thumb.
number? It's just something that, Dad says, apparently.
I love it. Let's make it a thing. 11 times is
Yeah.
the charm.
So keep trying.
Yeah, exactly. Don't ever give up unless it's time to give up. So knitting, there's a hope. Perhaps you're not like totally against
No.
tangents. Okay.
Of course not. I love knitting. I'm going to do it again. I just am on pause.
Well, that's fine. I don't knit all the time either.
I thought you were knitting right now.
I could be. I'm just not.
Yeah, I'm a knitter to be.
You're a knitter, baby. All right. My final question, and then we'll go on our break. Jim, I would like for you to reflect on why you believe we were put together to create this podcast so serendipitously. Because we just shared our origin story again, and it really got me thinking. It's just like it was meant to be. And I know that's so cliche, but maybe that's why it's a cliche.
When two people love each other very much.
Huh?
This is what my parents were telling me. The birds and the bees work.
They make a podcast together and
They
it's
make a
beautiful.
podcast together.
Yes.
Definitely fated. I think that the story is still unfolding. We've only known each other for 2 years.
Mm.
And I wonder sometimes if there's a past life connection, although it feels so fresh and like clean too. I think that there's something that we're really helping each other. Like you had a yearning for learning something, and there's a yearning that I had to learn something. And I think we've created this sort of like opening for each other. What was it that brought us together? You'll have to answer for yourself what it was or what it is that sort of was the answered thing for
Mm.
you. For me, it was it and continues to be the connections that I have helped facilitate and have with you and strengthen with you have been amazing. There's things that my relationship with you outside of the podcast have strengthened with other folks that we share in our life that I've introduced you to. Those relationships have strengthened because I've introduced you to other people that you're working with. And the network that we're creating and the community that we're creating together and that you're in is just fantastic. It's really unique and rare when you find somebody. There's a lot of people that we meet and we're like, nice to meet you. And there's few people that we meet and then it's a durable friendship that is created.
Yeah.
Because they integrate into the community that you have and the other connections that you have. And you know that because you have then friendships and connections with other people that I'm very close with and very intimate with that I'm working with as well. So you're just one of those folks and it's amazing.
Oh. Yeah, it just was meant to be. What can I
Yeah.
say?
So
Oh.
thanks for being you.
Thanks for being you and for being there. And I certainly feel the same. I appreciate you being vulnerable and honest with your answers. And you get to flip the script on me.
My questions are 180 different. They are not at all about the podcast. So
Good. It will be a nice change of pace.
stay tuned.
If you're curious about palm reading, all you have to do is turn to our maker of magic, James Devine. Jim offers palm readings, tarot readings, and coaching packages all through his website, thedivinehand.com. I just completed Jim's Intro to Palmistry class, and I was astounded at how much I learned in just 4 days. As a knitter, I was immediately inspired by how different ways that you might hold the yarn or your knitting needles correspond with where that hits on our palms and what that might be saying about us. Jim's class is helping me decode this, and in the process, making me very comfortable with his method of palm reading, the Divine Hand Method. I can't recommend taking a class or getting a reading from Jim enough. Keep up to date with all he has going on by signing up for his newsletter at thedivinehand.com and by following him on Instagram at divinehandjim. Hey there, fellow knitters. Are you looking for a community of like-minded magical makers? Join me on Patreon in my Coven of Knitters. For $21 a month, you can gain access to all of the amazing benefits, including my free pattern archive, monthly live streams on Zoom, magical making tips, exclusive discounts and promotions, behind-the-scenes posts on upcoming designs, and my newly added segment, Horoscope for Knitters, where I pull a tarot card for each sign of the zodiac to advise you on your crafting for the month ahead. To learn more and sign up, you know where to go, patreon.com/lightfromlantern. See you there, magical maker. And we are back. All right, Jim. I think I'm ready.
You're not ready, but that's okay.
All
If
right.
you stay ready, you don't get to get ready.
That's true.
All right, Katie, here is my first question.
All right.
It's about you.
That's good.
Dig deep. What is a trait or traits about yourself that you love or admire the most?
Oh. I really try to think from other people's perspectives, even if my initial reaction is very in the moment, which I think is pretty human. But I feel like over the years, I've learned to recognize when that happens so that I can be more removed and understand that what I'm feeling personally is like perhaps totally different than what they mean or intended, or maybe something's happening that I just don't know. So I've just tried to be less immediately judgmental and more, okay, but we don't know. That's something that I've appreciated that I'm growing about myself and look forward to doing even more in the future.
Yeah, beautiful. I've noticed that about you, and I really admire that too, how you're able to be like, hold on, that could be, but maybe also, we don't know.
Because haven't you been in that position where you're like, oh, I got totally misunderstood because someone's going through their own stuff?
Yeah, but when I judge people, I'm always right about how they're a total idiot.
It's hard when you're as great as you, Jim. Yeah.
Shut up.
When you've reached perfection, it's okay
Oh,
to. And also, there's blowing off steam. That's different,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Good
All right, you ready
question.
for more like that?
Yes.
All right. If there was a mythical power or a superpower that you could have, what would it be?
Oh, yeah. Being able to speak and understand any language
Oh, you would like download languages like on the Matrix?
or like anything that anyone says or speaks, I would always just be able to know and be able to talk back. I feel language is so important in this world at this point that when you can talk to someone in their native tongue, if they're not from the place that they're currently in,
Yeah,
it is like the key to unlocking a much
that
more,
connection.
yeah, genuine version of themselves. And don't we all feel like that?
Oh, that's amazing. I've thought about that too. I've been like somewhere and I've been like, gosh, I wish I could just speak Vietnamese, or I wish I was just a native speaker. Wouldn't it be amazing if I just walked in and suddenly was like a native speaker of Ethiopian? They
Yes.
would all be like, what?
Yeah, there's a guy on YouTube who is really brilliant in absorbing languages, and he goes and talks to people like in New York that are from all over the
Yeah.
world in their native tongue. That's something completely nobody knows this, very small population. And they're just like, oh, the immediate change on their face
Yeah.
is incredible. I'm like, oh, I want that. I want to be able to
I
do
want to
that.
be a polyglot like that too.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh my
No.
gosh, that's really cool. Mm.
And I want to talk to more people. Go figure.
I know. We could have known this.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one.
All right.
Tell me a story about one of the deepest, most meaningful spiritual or emotional experiences you've ever had.
Whoa. Just something like
Just
that.
that,
Just something
something
real
light.
deep. My brain goes to maybe not one in particular, but more the fact that it seems like sometimes death follows me around and is reminding me like it's right here. So enjoy, because like we can just could just be like you not paying attention crossing the street, and then luckily your mom's there to grab your hair and pull you back, which is an actual example of what happened once. Or good
Oh.
thing she was there to fish you out of the pool for going too far down to get a floaty thing, and then you couldn't make your way back up. She also might be my guardian angel, by the way.
Like your physical mom or like a spiritual
No, my
embodiment of
actual
her?
physical mom.
Oh, got it.
Stuff like that. It just seems like I've had a lot of close calls to be like, oh, okay, maybe this is why I always think about death. And it's very much in like my forefront of my like spiritual work and my magic work, which a lot of people don't like talking about death. Jim, I don't know if you've realized this, which is when we have guests on like Danielle, that it's, oh, this is your realm. You're comfortable with this. It's okay. And we can put
Yeah.
people like our listeners in a safe space to hear it too, or skip across that one. That's fine too. So, yeah, I think being confronted with my own mortality a few times has given me like a different perspective on like, don't take for granted putting off people's phone calls and stuff like that. So,
Right.
just more of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death is one of my favorite topics to talk about.
Yeah, because I don't really believe it's the end. It's just this physical body's end and then on to the next. So
I think one of the reasons I like talking about it is because it brings up such interesting conversation with people's beliefs and their
Mm,
deep, like meaningful conversation.
yeah.
And it's so cool. But oh, I love that, Katie. That's really fascinating.
One of my favorite cards in tarot is death. So
Yeah,
there we go.
that's awesome. All right. So what are we on? That was 1, 2, 3. That was the third question.
All
Question number 4.
right, I'm ready. Oh, I'm already
Why?
laughing.
Why aliens? No, really. Why?
That's so funny.
Why?
Okay, so I've thought a lot about this, obviously. I think it's partially because I grew up as a kid in the 90s and we were inundated with pop culture references of aliens everywhere. It was like Independence Day and Signs and all that stuff. It was just like aliens were super hot. And so I think part of me is just like growing up, that's just what was in my outside realm. But if I look into myself really and ask, I don't know. And I only have like uncomfortable feelings around the concept of one particular type of alien that kind of gives me like an off-putting feeling. Everything else, as you have learned, I'm like, oh, how many arms do you have? I'll knit you a sweater. I'm just curious to know what's out there and can we meet and how are we going to communicate? I don't know. I just think it's like, if it's out there, which I think it's pretty silly to think we're the smartest people around here. Whether you are a conspiracy believer or not, I don't really care. But I think something's out there. What is it? I sure don't know. But maybe one day I will.
That's cool. I am totally on the scientific side. Yes, I believe that there's life on other planets and like probably intelligent life out there as well. I'm not sure I go as far as like the woo-woo side, but maybe. I'm still thinking about doing the palmistry starseed correlation work.
Yes.
That might bring me closer to understanding because I did get a hit that I should do that work. Okay. Here's a question that I'm going to repeat that you asked.
Okay.
Season 3, if you could have any guest, and boom, magically, that guest said, I'd love to be on your podcast. I've reconsidered. Who would it be?
Jinx Monsoon.
What?
Yes.
What does Jinx Monsoon have to do with knitting?
She wore a knitted dress
That's
in
true.
a season of Drag
Right.
Race. Is a magical maker.
What does Jinx Monsoon have to do with knitting? Jinx Monsoon is Jinx
Everything.
Monsoon.
How dare you?
They're a witch.
I'm sure we can wrap it around to knitting.
Who
They'll knit ahead of
cares?
time.
If that's your answer, I'm like, Michelle Obama.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
So the follow-up to that is, why Jinx Monsoon? What would that bring to the podcast?
I love Jinx because of obviously overcoming a background of diversity and really a great example of moving into a confident version of yourself that may have aspects that freak other people out, like really embracing the witchier side of yourself, which is something they've done and has been such a nice example out in the world. You're already a drag queen, you're already doing all of these things, but like fully embraced their entire awesomeness and plus so talented, plus from Seattle, and it just seems like we would have a lot to talk about. And I have to imagine that even if Jinx doesn't knit, there's definitely enough craft work in their background to make it a good fit.
For sure. That's a great answer.
All right, well, this has been a fun episode. I hope people have enjoyed getting to know us a little better.
I got to know you a little better.
And now we know we have some ideas for our podcast. Who knows? Maybe
So
one
fun.
day dreams can come true.
We're gonna make your dreams come true.
We sing a lot in this show. Maybe we should just do an entire musical episode. Would you
Hey,
be down
maybe
for
there's a
that?
musical episode of Knit a Spell.
Yes, knit a spell, knit a spell.
Brought to you by Autotune.
Oh, no.
No, not on your side, on my side, because you're a good singer.
Well, you're a great rapper. You should just rap in the background. No?
Rapping in the background, knit a spell.
That's right. Freestyle.
No.
Jim, I really appreciate doing this with you every week. You're the whole reason I show up, and thank you for everything you do.
I'm glad to be a whole.
You're the real deal, Jim. No,
You're
I
the best,
can't.
Katie. Now it's time for May. So I'll be at the International Divination event in Dallas.
Ooh, we'll get your full review once you get back.
Yep, that's right. We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed the show, consider sharing it with a friend, leaving a review on iTunes and Spotify, or following Knit a Spell on Instagram.
You can also subscribe to the Light from Lantern YouTube channel to enjoy full episodes of Knit a Spell and see our happy faces.
You can also learn more about readings, classes, and events going on with your favorite maker of magic, James Devine, by visiting thedivinehand.com and subscribing to his newsletter. Then follow Jim's fun and interactive Instagram account at DivineHandJim.
Keep up with Katie, the magical maker, by subscribing to her newsletter at lightfromlantern.com. You'll receive a free knitting pattern as a thank you gift. Then follow Katie on Instagram at lightfromlantern for even more magical making tips. See you next week.